You're like, well, who are you going to call when, someone breaks into your house? At this point, you're better off calling the Ghostbusters.
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing great. So today's video, I want to talk about Sonya Massey. Sorry if I'm pronouncing her last name wrongly. So Sonya Massey is a black woman that was killed in her own home. If you don't know the story, then just stay tuned and let's have this conversation. This video is very hard for me and very disturbing because I watched the entire body cam video that was released. So a couple of days ago, it was reported that a black woman was killed in her own home after she called 911 that there was an intruder in the house, that she needs help, and two police officers were sent to her house. When they got there, I can't play the video. I can't play the body cam video because I think YouTube is going to take the video down. So I'm not going to play it, but I'm going to try as much as possible to summarize what happened in the video. But I think the video is all over the internet anyway. So go check it out if you have the heart, because it's really hard after knowing what you know. It's hard to watch the video. So this lady, the cop came to her house. They were asking her questions. They were inside her house. They asked her for ID, and they noticed a stove, a pot on the stove, and they asked her to go take down the stove. And the process of her asking her to take down the stove, one of the officers said something about her launching them with the hot water, and she said she rebuked them in the name of Jesus. And the next thing the officer said, which is the name of the officer is Sean Gretson, he pulled out his pium pium and said, if you say that one more time, actually said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Said, if you say that one more time, I'm going to pium pium your on the head. And she was like, oh, immediately pulled out his gun. She just left the pot on the stove and ducked and raised her hand up like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And in the next 20 seconds, this officer went ahead to pium pium her straight on the head. This is so hard. And even when his partner was like, he should go get his care kid, it was like that was a shot. This incident has gotten a lot of people talking. A lot of people are having this conversation of how can a black woman call a police officer that is supposed to protect them and end up this police officer pimp this woman. This police officer right now is in custody and being investigated, but there's a lot of outrage out there, and which I feel like is so needed, because we need to start speaking up. We need to start holding, because this one did not impose any form of harm to this man. This was in our own home. So what you're saying is that you can't call a police officer to. It's just really crazy. Anyway, guys, I need you guys to hear people's response on this. And if you've heard the story, what are your thoughts on this story? Go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. This entire incident has gotten a lot of people talking. Everybody is talking about this case on the internet right now. So let's go check out people's thoughts on this. Then I'll come back and share more of my thoughts. But I want to know what you think about this down in the comment section, because this is almost like they have trigger happy people in the police force, just people. And like the conversation we always have, we're talking about how women are not protected enough, especially as black women. Anyway, guys, let's go check out people's thoughts on this. Then I'll come back and share more of my thoughts.
I just watched the cop cam footage of Sonya Massey being. If you don't want to watch it, I'll summarize what happened. The cops were there. I seen one woman sitting on the couch, and then Sonya walked towards the kitchen area because she had a pot of water boiling, and it seemed like she was just going to take it off of the stove so it did not burn. It did not seem tense. There was no yelling. It was nothing. Like, you would not have thought that in that moment it was going to lead to her being for a moment there, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, it was kind of a little chuckle, like a little joke was made. Yeah. And one of the officers started stepping back, and that's kind of when it seemed like the joke was made about not wanting to have hot water on them, but like they were feet apart. Like it didn't even seem like that was going to happen. A couple of times she says, I'll rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And then the cop says, you better not, drop the pot right now or I'll pew pew you in the head. Immediately pulls out his fire. She was not coming at them. She did not lunge at them. She gave no sign that she was going to throw that pot of hot water on them. And that man just started pew-pewing her. And he said something alluding to, what else was I supposed to do? I didn't want hot water dumped on me. There was a part where one of the cops went to her to put something toward her head because it was a head. He put something toward her head. Her body was facing away from them. Mind you, when they pulled out their pew-pews, she ducked. But if he seen enough to pew-pew her in her head, then he would have seen that she was turned away from him. In literally less than 2 minutes, that lady's life was just taken away from her for absolutely no reason.
I have seen the video, and I didn't know what I was watching it was literally the first video when I opened this app. And when I see stuff like that, my brain, I really try and separate my conscious brain from my unconscious brain, if that makes sense. Like, I really try not to deep it. I feel it slowly hitting me. Like, I just saw Simone's video, and that made, like, the link from my conscious brain to my unconscious brain. And I can feel it, like, rising in my chest. And it's getting worse the more I think about it, because I just had the longest debate with my best friend about the police and how she says that she would never call the police, etc., etc. And thinking back to the video, I'm like, that literally could be me.
Yeah, anybody.
That literally could be me. In my kitchen, I was boiling water this afternoon. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus is literally like the second most common thing I say. I rebuke all sorts of things. That literally could have been me. Like, it's not me, but like just existing, doing a normal thing in my house. And it's not like we don't know. It's not like we don't have consciousness or awareness of it. But you guys really need to have more compassion for us. You need to have more compassion. You roll your eyes, you get irritated, you leave stupid comments on the internet, but you need to have more compassion, because the shit that we are confronted with on the regular, literally, we just ended her life just what for her pure existence. Until we are not for exercising our literal human right to use our tongue, I will continue to use my tongue in service of my community. And I will continue to post the things that my tongue says on the internet so that my words live beyond me. When my human right to use my tongue is violated. And for just speaking.
Y'all remember after George Floyd, and we were saying, defund the police, defund the police, defund the police. And, the blue liners were like, well, who are you going to call when, someone breaks into your house? At this point, you're better off calling Ghostbusters. Because there is no reason a tax-paying citizen should pick up her phone when she's in duress or believes she's in duress for aid, for assistance, for help, and how does that even make sense? But those of us with critical thinking skills know that he went to that house with the intention of causing harm. And then he got there, he saw that it was a black woman, and he said, this is my opportunity to kill somebody. Because there is just simply no way around it. And I don't think we're ever going to see any change until... Honestly, I don't even know. I don't know when change is going to come, if I'm being perfectly honest. Because even now, the other party is over there saying, which is the party of the blue line, the party of law and order, but we're going to vote for a felon. The party of, Blue Lives Matter are talking about if Kamala wins, they're going to start a civil war.
What?
I just want my people, we are headed down a very, very dangerous time in history for us. Okay? This is going to be a pivotal moment. It's also going to be a dangerous moment. And it's not going to be just until she gets in office. It's going to be extremely dangerous afterwards. They've already let us know. January 6th was but a prequel, was a small snippet of what is going to happen when they lose again. And I do not say if, I say when. Make sure you're doing whatever it is that you need to do to keep yourself and your family safe. If for whatever reason you have to contact the authorities, make sure you are not in your home alone. Okay?
All right, so I don't see a lot of people speaking on this whole body cam footage, but baby, we're going to talk about it over here because it's so crazy, y'all. And as believers, I know we really shouldn't get caught up in, rage bait and stuff like that, but we should be speaking out for injustice. Read Micah 6:8, period. But anyway, so basically on the body cam footage, if you're someone that has not seen it yet and you're trying to brace yourself to see the footage, basically by this point, the officers are in her home. The said officer who's responsible for her passing is standing right beside Sonya while she's sitting on the couch going through her documents. As she's going through her documents, you can see in the living room where she has open space for you to see into her kitchen. The said officer is looking at her kitchen and he notices that she has a pot of boiling water on the stove. And so he says, hey, you may want to go cut that stove off or take that pot off the stove. She was like, oh, yeah. So she gets up to go do that. While she's doing that, the second officer, who is picking up everything, he proceeds to start veering off into another bedroom, looking somewhere he does not have any business being. While Sonya is at the stove trying to remove the pot from the stove, you can hear the said officers say, yeah, we don't want you to try to us with your hot water. So I'm like, that was unprofessional to say. But anyway, so the lady, Sonya was like, huh? And then she says, where you going? And she was saying that to the second officer, who was, again, over there veering off in areas he was not supposed to be. So then she says, what did you just say? And he said, I said, y'all, and he had his chest out. He said, I said, we don't want you to with your hot water. She said, you don't want me to with my hot water. He said, yeah. And then she was like, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Soon as she said that, that's when the whole situation just flipped. This man, after she says, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, because he's making a joke about her trying to allude that she's going to do something with this pot that he asked her to take off her stove in her house. This man then proceeds to say, you better not, or I'll hit you in the face. So she's standing there stunned, because at this point, he's got pulled out, and he tells her, after he pulls out his, to put pot down. She said, I'm sorry, like I didn't know you was gonna take it that far. So she puts the pot down, and while she's putting it down, he stands over her and shoots her in the face, point blank range. If that wasn't enough, he went a step further and said, let me do it one more time. No, let me do it again. So he a total of 3 times in her face while he's standing here and his partner is watching everything. This is just part 1.
Release of body cam footage of Sonya Massey, and I just watched it. The way everything was so just normal. Everything was completely normal. And then within a second, that officer just escalated everything. Like there was nothing happening. They told her to go get the water. She said, why are y'all backing up? And they said they don't want to get scalded. And she said, I rebuke you in the name of the Lord. Just as a joke. Just making a lighthearted joke. And Officer Grayson said, you better not say that in the face. And she said, I'm sorry. Puts her hand up. He says, drop the pot. She gets down with her hands up. You can see her hands are up. And he hits her in the face. And then he yells at her to put it down. He continuously is yelling at her to put it down after he's her in the head. That man deserves to spend the rest of his life in a prison cell. And whenever they first were releasing what happened, they made it seem like the second officer wasn't even in the room when it happened. They said like he was outside, you know, they only got the tail end of his body cam footage coming in. They were standing beside each other the entire time. There was absolutely no reason whatsoever, except that he wanted to. And we already have plenty of police training facilities, plenty of them. And we still have guys like this who go through 6 jobs in 4 years and are still given guns. I want to say justice for Sonya Massey, but I don't even know what that would look like. I'm sure her family would much rather have her here than be awarded money in some stupid civil lawsuit. It's enough with the lawsuits. It's enough with like this hush money that they do. We need actual change. And if you haven't watched the footage yet, I highly recommend you go do so. Is it good for your mental health? No, it wasn't good for Sonya's either. But you should still go watch it and understand what is happening and what is happening to Black people all over this country.
Let me ask y'all a real question. When the last time you seen a police officer use a baton? Like, in any of these viral videos that go on online, of these terrible cases, when the last time you seen a police officer use a taser? Y'all know that they carry pepper spray? I don't know. When's the last time I've seen a police officer use a pepper spray? Because I'm just so interested, why in all of these cases, and I feel like this is so, maybe very uniquely American. Not only do they skip all other options when the danger is not that imminent. I'm talking about Sonya, if y'all don't know, on Twitter, about the lady who was holding boiling water and she was, right? You feel like this lady is gonna pour boiling hot water on you. Okay, let's give you that. So you're afraid. One, this is an elderly lady. This is an older looking lady. Somebody who don't look like they got that much upper arm strength and dexterity. Have you ever picked up one of the big pots with one hand? Even I, at 25, I could not throw a big pot of whatever, just fling it around 6 feet. So you feel like this older lady is gonna just throw on you, and and she's far away, instead of you being like, hey, I could just tase her, because the boiling water gonna fall on her, and you don't care about boiling water falling on her if you're willing to 2 times. So I think boiling water is a little less severe of a punishment. He could have tased her. And now even if he picked up the, what gets me again in these kind of American only scenarios, they never them in the foot. I think the foot would stop a lot of these things. Put them in the foot or the arm, or they never subdue, and rarely ever do they once. That's not the you going for purely chest and head rounds. I just don't understand. I don't understand. Even if you felt like you was in danger, you're gonna. He was like, oh, I didn't want hot water on me. What else was I supposed to do? What else was I supposed to do? He's a professional, and he doesn't even know how to handle stress and a tense moment. He has no other skills. They taught him nothing else, because he was like, oh, if I'm ever in danger, in all scenarios, if I feel like it, I'll kill him. And then even if you don't put that down, I'm gonna shoot right in your face. I don't know any other job profession. I feel like every job gives you like protocol and little things so that legally they're behind is safe. Like there has to be something that cops can legally say before they, hey, I am in danger or whatever. He literally said, I'm gonna on your ass. Like, girl, what's happened? I don't know. That video was just like disturbing. Like, I don't know.
I just finished watching the release footage of Sonya Massey's, because that's what it was. I normally don't talk about these things, but I am so tired of injustice, especially when it comes to the people that are supposed to help us when we are in need. I can relate to some of the things that can happen. I once was in a situation where instead of them helping me, I ended up in ICU. And so I know what it's like that when you call on to help, when you call for help with people who are in authority and have all the tools and resources to help you, including listening and having sympathy and a heart. It's part of the reason why some of the people that do what they do, policemen, EMS, nurses, doctors, they love people and they do it because they serve our community, the entire community. And watching this was very, very, very hard. I already knew of the situation, but to actually watch the video, to hear everything that was said, is hard. I pray for her family, and I pray that this gets justice immediately, expeditiously, along with every case like this, not just this particular case, every single case like this. Even, and most importantly, I want to say that women and children, any case that involves anything like this with women and children should be at the very top. I'm not saying that men are any less. I'm just saying that men can defend themselves. But women and children are helpless in a lot of situations. So be mindful of everything that is being released into the atmosphere right now in the news media that is targeting a certain agenda. Don't get me wrong. Hear me when I say this. This is justice. But from here on out, guard your peace. Be careful where you go. Pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to what is being said. Listen carefully. Listen to what is being said before you respond. And know and follow that voice that says, get out. It doesn't matter if you hear God telling you don't go to Kroger or Publix or Walmart today, don't do it. Listen to that voice, because there's a lot of craziness going on right now, and the fact that this was released today, rightfully so, it's also very strategic. And anyway, the whole thing was just, I'm still trying to process it all, and everything that police officer said is just, God bless you all. You stay safe out there. Be careful. Hold on to God. Hold on to God. Jesus. And remember why you say yes to him. And if anything comes in between that, why you said yes to Jesus and the now, you tell that thing, I'm Jesus first. God bless you.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this conversation down in the comment section. But please, as always, keep it respectful. You're on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but do it in a respectful way. This story really got me angry, got me emotional, got me distraught about the entire, just even watching the video. But one thing that also stood out, which I did say initially and people are not talking about, is the aftermath after he did this, when the other cops came in. Over 10 other cops came in when they announced that, when they said on the radio that, he has pimped Sonya. And when they came, it was like, I don't know what else to do. The bitch was crazy. Like, literally calling this woman crazy for doing nothing, being no threat or harm to him. This man, and that's when you will know that there's no sign of remorse, or you say, maybe he did it out of reflex, or you actually feel like his life was threatened. No, this man knew exactly what he did, and for whatever reason best known to him, and why he did what he did. And my heart goes out to our family. Only God can console them, because I can't even imagine what they are going through and how they are even processing this. She wasn't outside. She was in the comfort of her home. She felt threatened. She called the cops. She wasn't in no argument with nobody. She was not in no fight with anybody. And yet, her life was still taken away from her. And this is why I usually say that as women, as black women, we are the least protected people in especially in America, in the world generally, we are the least protected people. And this is why when I see black women or women come for each other, is that we're coming for each other when we're supposed to be protecting each other. My heart really, like, I I I pray these cops go to jail, but I pray this justice comes fast, because one thing I know they do a lot in cases like this, they're going to go to court, appeal, suspension. I don't know. This is a clear case of murder, and this guy should go to jail. This guy should pay this. There should be justice for her. And this is where, as well, especially my American sisters, people in the States, and all that, is that, like the other lady said, this is the time, like, voting rights is very important. Like, I know somebody said, "Oh, you're in Nigeria. You're talking about what's going on here in America. How does that affect you?" It affects me one way or the other, because whether I like it or not, I have family, I have friends in the U.S. So this could be anybody. Like in this case of Sonya, it could be anybody. It could be anybody. One of my very good friends that I love to death, she's in the States. So this could literally be anybody. So I feel like this is the point where it's time to just vote right. Especially as women, black women, this is the time to vote right, vote for your interests. And this is the time to also speak up. And this is why I'm doing this video, to amplify this voice for the justice to be swift and fast. Because the more noise, the more attention this gets on the media, the more pressure we're putting on the department to round up this case and persecute that cop that killed this beautiful queen. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this video down in the comment section. Love to know what you think this story. I love to know your own take on this. But please, like always, keep it respectful. Here on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we'll do it in a respectful way. So go ahead and share your thoughts. Don't forget to share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation. Okay, so go ahead and share this video. Give this video a thumbs up, because it helps YouTube to push out the video for more people to see. So go ahead and do that. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel, and I will see you guys in my next video.